to engage. I want us to talk and get value out of this. I have 3 rules for every agent inside of this market center. The first rule is that you engage. No matter what's going on, whether it's a training class, whether it is a group having an accountability meeting, whether it's an agent doing a networking event, find some way to engage with somebody else. If you do that, you're going to find out that you're learning things and having a different experience than you normally would. The second thing that I request is that everybody put in work. Putting in work looks different for everybody. It doesn't mean that you sell 100 homes a year. Now, if you can get there, awesome. But what it means is that you're working on improving yourself every single day and night to make yourself better. And then third is that you share. You know, the interesting part about this business is that every single one of us, every single agent has failed multiple times. And it's about us sharing in those failures and sharing our successes, that we learn that, one, we're no different than everybody else. We're going through some of the same challenges. But when I'm sharing it, I'm finding out that you may have had a better way to overcome your challenges. You may have walked through the same thing I was doing and you got through it faster, or you may find out that I am on the complete wrong path and I can hear from 3 different people to show that I need to go a different way. But if we engage, work, and share, your experience is a lot different. So through our call tonight, engage, share your experiences, share your stories, and we're going to get a lot out of it. Denise, to your question, you would love to hear what we do for our dual career agents. Well, start is this. You know, we put this class on at night versus doing it at 11 a.m. during the day because we wanted more of our dual career agents to jump in and expand and engage with it. Another thing that we're doing for our dual career agents is we've actually partnered with one of the largest expansion teams in the country who focuses on providing education, training, and guidance to dual career agents. We have a focus on every level of your business you could possibly imagine. And we want to teach, we want to talk, we want to consult to it. Now, can I tell you we're perfect? Absolutely not. But what I can tell you is we're working every day to be better. We're going to find a way to engage with you. We want to know what your experience is, and that's what we're going to do. All right. So I feel like I did pretty good. I got an intro out, and it was less than 15 minutes. I deserve a round of applause. If you know how much I talk, that should be rewarded for that.
So, Brandon, I have heard great things about you. Never met you, never saw you. And as soon as I finish eating, I'll put my camera on. But I just want to tell everybody, or tell you, I've heard great things about you.
You know what? I appreciate that. And whoever was lying about me, tell them I said thank you. You know, I honestly, you know, the big part of who we are and what we do is we have a lot of great people that we work with. And I love having great conversations with people. It helps me gain knowledge to be able to help. And, you know, Raymond, I think you said it earlier, using that Ford technique. I never have had a problem talking, but I never knew how to have certain conversations. And I started using that, and it became a lot easier to have meaningful conversations with people that build lasting relationships. So, Stephanie, I truly appreciate that. And I'm grateful for whoever had such kind words. And I'm glad to know that I've had an effect on them in a positive way. I truly am. You keep saying nice things, I will tear up. All right, so let's see if I can get a screen shared here. All right, so do we see the slideshow?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So if you guys have questions, throw them into the chat. I have that pulled up. Oh yeah, he's phenomenal. He's a good dude. And I'm gonna try to make sure. Normally I'm not put in charge of running the chat, adding in guests, and doing it all at the same time. So forgive me if I'm a little slow. If you pop out and need to jump back in, forgive me if I'm a little slow for adding you back. I'm running as a one-man show. I usually say I'm just a talent and let everybody else shine at what they're supposed to do, and I just talk all day. All right. Here we go. So tonight's class, we are actively going through how to strengthen relationships. So you guys know who I am, and here's the interesting part. As my name being a team leader, I actually changed my title and my role. My title now is actually that of a director of relationships. And the reason I went to director of relationships is because I think about what we do. And it's not so much that we sell real estate. And if you work with investors, then on that side, yeah, we do sell real estate, right? But you are building relationships with people because they want to have a relationship with a property for whatever their lifestyle entails. In my role as a team leader, I'm looking at the relationships that I build with people to, one, put them in a location where we can change their lives, right? Where their business can get what they need out of it. You know, the question that was asked earlier, what do we do for our dual career agents? The first thing that we do is we listen to them, right? By doing that, we have an idea of what they need, what would be beneficial to their business, but it all comes from having a true relationship built that you can actually make a difference with somebody. So if you think about your business, one key aspect to it is, are you able to build meaningful relationships? If you can do that, you're ahead of 90% of the agents that are out there. And it's not just about building, it's can you maintain that relationship? So your previous lesson, you guys went through the tools for converting your leads into contacts and how to grow a profitable business by doing that. Part of today in that lead follow-up is the strength in relationships, and we're going to extend that knowledge to go beyond the follow-up, and we're going to explore ways that you can leverage, one, the systems that we use, but leverage ways for you to become systematic. You know, the key about building a business is how you can build this to scale. If you can put the tools and the systems in place where you can have follow-up systems that are there that can talk about you and talk about your business with you not having to do it, it will do wonders for your business, especially on the sales side. To talk about engagement. So I want to do this versus me just calling on people. I'm going to have everybody throw something into the chat real quick. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 15 and throw that number into the chat. And then write that number down beside you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to call on people in groups. Depending on the number that you pick between 1 and 15, that is going to be your group. So I will throw out there, let's say anybody who picked the number 12, that'll be your group and your time to respond. Anybody who picked a single digit number, let's say 7, it'll be your chance to respond. It's also interesting looking at this to see what the favorite numbers are that people pick. This is going to be kind of fun. I should do this with more classes. I like this strategy. Great. All right, so let's try this out. With our lead gen so far, what challenges have you ran into? Anybody who picked a number below 5, I'll have you respond.
My biggest challenge is talking to people on the phone. Very hesitant to do that, as I have a fear of not knowing what to say.
Okay. So can I ask you a question? Have you started making calls to people and experience more of that challenge? Have you started making those calls to get used to it?
Yes, I've been making calls. It's still scary the first like 2 times, and then I started getting into doing it. I also have been doing video text messages, so that helps with, I can kind of go over what I want to say, even because I'm just going to send out the video text message. But yeah, after the first 2 or 3 times, it becomes a little bit easier.
So first and foremost, congratulations. And class, can we all just give a round of applause? He did one of the most challenging things, which is he's making the calls and he's uncomfortable with it. So you're living in your uncomfortable zone, and I truly applaud you. I think we all deserve to just round of applause for that. That is one of the toughest things to go out there and do. And the fact that you're doing it, you are stepping towards success. And what I will tell you is, as a person who's been in it 18 years, I still get call reluctance. I still some days have to pump myself up to make that call. I have my big whys. I have my reasonings in my head that I need to go through and make the call, but sometimes it's just not that easy. And then there's other days, because I'm so used to it, that if you can build it into such a routine, even if you don't want to do it, you'll start feeling like my day has been a complete failure. I need to just talk to somebody. And then it'll become a thing where you'll reach out and do it because you don't want to feel that sense of failure to yourself by not trying to push yourself ahead. So the fact that you took that first step, congratulations. The second thing that I'm going to congratulate you on is that being one of your fears, you found a way to overcome it by using the FORD technique. It's one of the first things that you mentioned on the call today. So you found a strategy to use to help yourself walk through that conversation. And earlier you even talked about using that has been successful for you. So congratulations. I love hearing that. That means you're off to a great start. Can I ask you another question? How are you practicing that skill set? Are you practicing before you make the calls, or are you just practicing by just picking up the phone and making calls?
We have a script. They have the script training every Monday and Friday. I've been going to that. But mostly it's just like kind of just going over the scripts, write them down, so that I can start to internalize them, and then for the rest of it, I just wing it.
Hey, you know what? So first, the fact that you're going to the script practice groups, that's great. You are doing the practice steps necessary. And for all, if you want to get good at something, I use sports a lot because sports are a great analogy for everything. But name one professional athlete that doesn't practice their craft daily. You can't. And if this is our craft and we want to be professionals in this world, you will not be successful unless you continue to practice. And going into the real world and just jumping feet first into it, you're going to get some crash course experience, but you have the benefit of, right now we have how many people on this call? 27 people on this call. That's 27 people that if you reach out to at some point in time, you get to practice with, you get to deepen a relationship with, you get to go through it with somebody who's going through the same challenges that you're facing right now. Take advantage of that. Whether you're in our market center or any market center, if we have script practice, jump on. It may not be more than 15 minutes a day, but it's at least letting you rehearse and hear somebody go through that conversation. The next question. So I'm going to ask this to, if your number was 10, and there's a couple of us. If your number was 10, let me get some responses. Do you have accountability partners? And if so, how frequently are you meeting?
I don't.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
I do not either.
Okay. There's another 10 that's out there.
No accountability partner.
Okay. What's up, Shank? How you doing, good sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So this is what I will tell you guys with accountability partners. You want to have one. Lean on each other. That group of people who I just called on who gave the number 10, you guys should honestly be having a conversation. Direct message each other now. Find a time where you can communicate with each other. And just like I said, those three things: engage, work, and share. That accountability group will let you do that on a regular basis. Your business will transcend. You will have a much greater chance of success when you have that accountability group. I'm very grateful for our agents in the market center because a lot of them meet together and they form their own accountability groups. Two groups I can think of off the top of my head, they meet on Mondays at noon, and then another group that meets, I think it's Wednesday evenings, and there's a third that meets Friday evenings. So they're different, and every market center should have one. If they don't, use somebody who's on this call. I'll be honest with you, if you can narrow down a time with me, I would be happy to be an accountability partner because I want to see us all succeed. But share with your agents. You guys know everybody on this call is going through the exact same challenges you are. Ray, and I thank you again, but Ray was the first one to jump out there and admit that he has call reluctance, and that's not something he enjoys doing, but he's going out there and doing it. How great is it to have a conversation with Ray and then hear him say, you know what? I got out there, I made 5 calls today, I made contact with one, and I got an appointment set up. It motivates us, it keeps us pushing forward. So set up accountability groups. When we disconnect today, I always like to leave extra time for people to have conversations afterwards. Use that time to build out accountability groups with each other. All right. All right, so let me jump back in and share our presentation. See, and I said we're going to finish early, and here I am. I'm supposed to be halfway done already, and I'm not even close. Told you I'll talk a little bit. And I need the participant. All right, perfect. All right, so this is our agenda for the evening. We're going to cover really 4 main key topics. The key topics we're going to go through is applying follow-up principles for our leads and contacts. The next thing we're going to do is figure out and create a 36 touch or convert touch plan. Does anybody have an idea of what a 36 touch plan is? Randomly, no numbers, but have you ever heard of that 36 touch?
Yeah, you're contacting your
Yes.
database, touching them 36 times a year.
Perfect. We're going to create one for us all to use tonight. And then we're going to design and use a MOFR. Have you guys heard of the phrase MOFR before?
No.
Yes, I just can't remember what the initials mean.
So make offer for immediate response. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing to use. And we're going to talk about that. I'll give some examples of some of our agents who are using ClickFunnels and different things. They're using MOFRs to get that response. And last but not least, we're going to develop a strategy to continue to grow the number of contacts in our database. So thinking about what you want to learn, if those are our 4 major points of contact or 4 major points that we're going to cover today, start thinking about questions. Fire them off, fire them away. Sometimes I will host classes where it's just question and answers. You know, the more you think about those questions you have, I'm probably going to break us up into groups later on to make sure that I kind of force some accountability groups together. But think about your questions. Feel free to fire them away, raise your hands, shoot me a message. I'm here to answer and make sure that you're getting what you need out of this class this evening. I do have a good question though. What is the difference between a lead and a contact? And
Contact is when we have their phone, name, phone, email, and address.
you said that's a contact?
Yeah.
So then what's a lead?
Lead is when we call somebody, when somebody shows an interest, when we try to call them. But if somebody answers our phone and they share their information, then that lead turns into a contact.
Okay. I like that. Anybody else? What else do we think? What's the difference between a lead and a contact?
A lead is just the contact of the person, the telephone number that you have and the name that you have. When you call and speak to the person pick the phone and say hello, it's a contact.
Okay.
It becomes a contact. So now you don't only just have a phone, but you have at least say hello to somebody. Then you can now follow up to make sure that you continue the relationship and turn it into money.
So, and I like that, Tress, thank you. To break it down, I'm gonna use the mental aspect of it. In terms of a conversation, a lead to me is a one-way conversation, right? Where if I have your contact information and I'm reaching out to you and you don't know who I am, you don't know what I do, that's just a lead, right? And Shank, to your point, I could have all of your contact info and it could still just very well be a lead. I could have had a great referral partner like Stephanie mentioned earlier. She's heard great things about me. So she could have gotten my name, my phone number, my email address, all of my contact information. And I may have never met her before this evening. If she would have reached out to me, she would have had to introduce herself to me for the first time, right? And that's just a lead because it's a one-way conversation at that point. But a contact is somebody who will have a two-way conversation with you. You know, that mental aspect of knowing that when I pick up the phone, I can go back and forth and have a conversation that's meaningful about anything with that person because they know who I am, they know what I do, and there's a reason for us to be in contact with each other. So I just use that as that mental difference between a lead and a contact. And it's I know it's minor, but one thing in this world, I think words mean a lot in what we do and how we look at our business. If we look at what we have in front of us the right way, it makes a difference. So if I know that, you know, right now on my desk, I have a Post-it note with a name and a phone number, and some notes about a young lady and who I need to reach out to. That's a lead at that moment. And I can look at my desk and, you know, that thought process, I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads. That's what I'd be going after. But the reality, what we should be saying to ourselves is, I need more contacts. If I have more contacts, more people that I'm engaged in that conversation with, it makes a difference. Little bit off script, but does anybody know what the 201 Club is?
You have 201 contacts in your database that you can earn, like, I don't know, was it over 100 grand a year?
Yeah, I think
got
that's
it.
like 119.
Yep, you got it. So we look at models and systems, and the models that we look after are based off people who have done it before us. What do they have in common and what makes the most sense? And the one thing that they've seen is it takes roughly 201 contacts for somebody to break into the 6-figure mark. And everybody who's in that realm, they get there. So that thought process, and let's just be honest, we've all said it. I've said it. I'm hearing myself when I've said it and said, "Ooh, I just need a few more leads and I can really make a difference." The reality is, if I have the right contacts, it makes all the difference in the world. I'm going to share a couple stories as we go forward, really just of my business and things that I've done and why that makes such a difference, understanding that difference between the lead and the contact and what's needed. All right, so what mindset should we adopt to successfully nurture relationships with our contacts? So I said again, what mindset do we need to adapt to successfully nurture relationships with contacts? If your number was 13, this question's for you.
I would say be a person of service to them.
Ooh, I like that. What does that mean?
Well, you're not really looking for of course, you're looking for the sale, but you really care about the person and what you could do for them at any moment, which eventually they will always look for you to be a person that they will contact for your real estate needs.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
We got a few more 13s. Let me get you guys a response from you guys as well.
Yes. So yeah, like he said, you want to always try to provide something of value. I know one of the main things that my mentor always told me, like, look, always come from a place of, provide value. How can I help you today? How can I, even if it's not real estate related, maybe if they, they need to know what's the best pediatrician in town, or they need to know what's the closest barbershop in town. But yeah, I really need a haircut. Just little things like that, providing service, those are things that help you strengthen those relationships.
I can't agree more. You both have mentioned, and when I have these conversations with people, I take down notes because it matters. But you both said something that resonates with me. Be a person of service and provide a thing of value. And you heard me when I said earlier, my thing that I look for each day is, how can I provide value to somebody? If you're nurturing a relationship with contacts, part of it is throwing out there that, hey, I'm your real estate agent, want to be your real estate agent of choice. But the other part of it is, if they think about you and using you, there should be something of value they see in you. They should know that there's some level of service. And maybe it's that level of service that you provide that's what intrigues them to say, yes, this is the person I'm thinking of. This is the person that I want to use on a day-to-day basis. So I love that aspect of it. And what you're building is, if we're using scientific methodologies, but you're building an emotional proximity to that person, right? To that contact. And now that you have it, you've established that. And then when it is their time, when they are ready to react, when they are ready to purchase, when they are ready to sell, when they're thinking about it, because you've established that emotional proximity, that connection, that's when they'll jump in. The reality to what we do in this business, we can't control that moment when it clicks in somebody's head and they say, you know what, I need to sell my house. Or, ooh, now I saw this commercial and now it's the perfect time for me to buy. We can't control that moment, right? But when people are ready, we want to be there when they make that mind up or when they're going through that timeline. We want to be that informational source. And if we're a person of service or a person of value to them, we can be that. You know, we can control our influence, we can control our emotional proximity to them. And we do that by the two things you guys mentioned, being of service and being of value to them. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. If we have that conversation about what we can offer and how we can build that, you know that that emotional growth, know that that comes from having clarity, right, around their goals, their priorities. This is kind of why I go into that frog method, right, or the Ford method, their dreams. And then we can always have focused action to help them, right? You know, those things, if you're building that nurturing relationship and you know that they are facing a life's challenge, you know, I'll sell me on us buying a new house, right? The challenge that I have is as my parents are getting older, I need another bedroom. And as my kids are getting older, my parents getting older. My parents are both from Kansas City, Missouri. Go Chiefs, by the way. And as they come into town, one of my kids, my 3-bedroom house, they end up having to share the room with each other. And it just is a little bit uncomfortable, or you're putting somebody out. And as much as we love everybody, I want everyone to be comfortable. So if I'm having a conversation with my general agent, then if they start throwing me 4 or 5-bedroom houses, I'm paying attention to it. I may not be ready right now, but that emotional connection from them knowing, being very clear on what my priorities are, and them having focused actions of always reaching out to it, it makes a difference, right? So little things like that, when you're having these conversations, you should be taking notes. You should be noting down what's of relevance so you can start to market to them in that way. So this slide, I know we've seen it before. You guys know what this model's called?
Lead generation model.
There you go. So do we know the 4 models inside of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent?
Leads, listing, leverage.
That's the 3 L's, which is great. There's a lot of different acronyms. I like that one a lot. Lead gen is one. We got some work to do. All right, so there are 4 main models: your budget model, your economic model, your lead generation model, and your organization model. Budget, economic, leads, organization. Out of these models, your lead gen will always drive business. And if you did nothing other than focus on working the leads, converting them into contacts, and converting those contacts into people who want to do business with you, you will have a very successful business. My favorite 2 of those models happen to be the economic and organizational model. It just is a roadmap to know where you're going. You have to incorporate all the other leads inside of those, but if you did nothing else but understand how to navigate a lead to a contact and a contact to close business, you will have a successful business. So in the previous class, you guys worked on ways to convert those leads. And simple reminder on this is you prospect and market to bring leads into your database, right? And when you get those leads in, you want to have those leads convert to contacts and then manage them inside of your database. We talked about that difference between the two, where, you know, think of it as a conversation. And lovely enough, we got a slide that says what I was talking about. Your leads are just a one-way conversation, right? They are people that you have enough contact information for. You have a way to follow up with them, but the contacts are people who know you and have a reciprocal conversation with you. They are people who expect to hear from you. They know who you are, and they know that you're the agent that can help them with their real estate needs. Can I tell you guys a real true story? There is going to come a time, if it hasn't happened for some of you already, where a family member, a close friend, a colleague who knew and knows that you're in real estate will come to you somewhat frustrated and almost tell you that they bought a house with somebody else and almost unhappy that they're telling you that story. They're not telling it to you because, you know, they don't want to embarrass you, or they don't want you to know that they bought it with somebody else. They're actually telling you that story because they knew you're a real estate agent and you didn't reach out to them to give them the service. I've had this happen to me over and over and over again. I thought something was wrong with my friends. I thought they didn't trust me. They didn't believe in me. And they were just using other people because they knew them longer, whatever the case may be. And I had a conversation with a couple of them and just asked them, I said, man, you know, true story, I was struggling when you bought that house. I needed that deal to go through. Why didn't you use me? And they just flat out said, you didn't tell us that you needed us to. You didn't let us know that you were the agent who could help us. We didn't think that we fit inside of your profile because you never sent anything our way to say that you could help us buy a house. Think about all the contacts in your phone, your email account, your Instagram, your Facebook friends. Think about all of them. How many of them do you actively tell that you're in real estate? And better yet, how many of them do you actively ask if you could help them with the real estate need? If you're not doing that to them, then why would you ever be upset when they buy a house with somebody else? One of our agents who was here, she legitimately, when we purchased the Market Center and took over, she was one of the first few conversations I had. I think she closed one real estate deal at that point in time. She was working 3 jobs and she said that she was going to get out of real estate. This just wasn't for her. She was tired of that exact same situation happening, that people very close to her were buying houses and none of them were using her. They would ask her questions, but they wouldn't use her. And I said, just work with us for a little bit. Let's find out what's happening. That exact scenario. They were asking her questions because they knew she was in real estate and they wanted her to let them know that, hey, I can help you. I can do this for you. And when she didn't, you think those people are going to wait? Their time is now. They're going to go out and get it. She went from not producing to literally taking her family to London for a month off of her real estate closings. That is the difference that it makes of just having that conversations with people. We talk about building systems. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to put our time and effort and energy into today. Sorry, I had little notes and I'm getting off topic with my notes here, but it's a relevant story to what we need to be going through. So we have this phrase, and it's on my wall, the WI4C2ES, which is the Keller Williams, our mantra, our slogan that we live by. I don't expect everybody to know all those acronyms. As a TL, I'll be honest with you, I know I'm supposed to know them all off the back of my hand. I know half of them, right? But one of the C's that are there, right? Because there's 4 C's, is communication. In our Keller Williams world, what does communication mean? Anybody can answer.
You mean as far as the
Just a definition.
the
Just a
actual
definition of communication.
office, right? Or just the community? Oh, I guess just being active, being engaged, asking questions, reaching out to other agents, things like that.
So I'm going to give you a word, just like we kind of broke down leads to contacts. Communication. Think of communication as this. You're seeking first to understand.
Mm.
If that is what you're communicating for, go back to Ray's using the Ford method, right? I'm seeking to understand this person first. If I can understand them, then I can know how to help them. We go through with our friends, we already know them, we understand them, but are we offering to help them? Are we giving them the tools necessary for us to be able to help them? If we approach all of our conversations with all of our contacts with this thought process in mind, right? Seek first to understand. Then once we can understand their needs, how easy is it to communicate to them? If my need is to add a 4th bedroom so my parents can come in more often and spend time with their grandkids, how easy is it to just have a conversation and think about what that conversation would sound like? It's not necessarily, hey, have you thought any more about adding that 4th bedroom to a house or buying a new house? conversation shifts. Now you can have a conversation and say, hey, Brandon, just curious, when's the last time your parents were in town? You know, that already strikes the nerve that I'm thinking of. You know what? They haven't been in town in probably the last year and a half. Oh man, why not? Now it just stoked that fire again. Like, yeah, I need to make sure I add that extra bedroom. It's not having that real estate conversation, but if you understand what my need is or what my want is or something that I'm going through, you can communicate to that and it makes a difference. It will drive your relationships further because now I will know that you heard me. And now it makes me want to engage with you even more. So I don't think any of us got into this business to not be successful. And as real estate professionals, right? Professionals go to practice. Success is built on relationships. And this is a quote from one of the top agents at one of the Red Talks, which was focus on building relationships and take market share. I'll save this story for later, but I have conversations with our top 20% every month. And actually, no, it's perfect time for it. My mind works perfectly. And in this conversation, and sorry, I'm gonna stop sharing because I'd rather look at you guys versus look at the slideshow. So forgive me. I'll start it back up in a second. But one of our top tier agents, we were going through their budget. We were going through his expenses and finding out where he was spending his money and what he would go through. And we got on Zillow. And, you know, before any of us think about jumping on Zillow, he's spending a couple of $1,000s a month in Zillow. And that couple $1,000s a month, he's closing some business and getting some deals out of it. But what's interesting is we talked about his turn time from an internet lead. 270 days from point of first contact. 270 days is the average turn time. Now, some of us know that if you've ever worked as Zillow lead, some of them you can just get like that and next thing you know, you got a deal coming through. But he's been managing and maintaining these relationships of those false leads that come in, the people who were halfway sure, who are talking to 7 or 8 different agents, and he's nurturing them all. He's throwing them inside of his database because he truly believes that today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. And so by that, he's developed into a system where now he's guaranteed closings every single month because he's willing to follow up and have ongoing conversations with somebody for 270 days to make it work. We're in this business, we're professionals, we go through coaching. So I had a conversation with my coach. Conversation that I had with my coach was in this exact regard. Where are all my easy deals? And I was somewhat frustrated last year because I had what I felt like was no easy deals. And that was frustrating me. I couldn't figure it out. I needed to figure out what do I need to do to get something easy to pop up. And so my coach, we started walking through it, and I was going through making my contacts, building my database, and I wasn't doing it effectively before we had that conversation. And it only took about a month and a half, 2 months before I started having those easy slam dunk conversations, those one and done. As soon as you say your name, people say, yes, I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to do whatever you say. And you want to know what's interesting? What I learned as you know what, I'm notating this down because I'm bringing it up for the future. Every single one of those easy deals was somebody I had a conversation with a month to 6 months prior. And I maintained that conversation, whether it was via a quick text message, hey, just thinking of you, a draft formatted email, an email campaign that went through. When they reached back out and said, you know what, I was thinking about our last conversation and I really want to have another conversation. Let's see what we need to do. That's what made that difference. So if you're wondering to yourself, how do you get to that point where you can have easy deals? How do you get to that point? And I'm thinking I want to spend money on this lead source or whatever the case may be. Understand that even some of the top tier teams, they are taking almost a year or 2/3 of a year to get that deal to transpire. And all they're doing is nurturing that relationship. So if you look at all the contacts that you have, if you nurture those first, you will get the deals that you need out of it. I want to ask this question. Prior to me going on a long rant, what was your mindset about utilizing your database? How did you feel about the database that you have and how that database can actually not just transition your business, but fund your big life? I'm going to go to 8. If your number was 8, this question's for you. How do you feel about your database? And how do you feel about that being able to fund your real estate business and your big life?
Hi, my name's Terry. I don't really know how to answer that because I tell you, I'm a new agent. I just been on since July and I'm just now building my database. So, you know, I'm learning everything I can from everybody on how to build that. So I'm just in the learning stage right now.
Thank you. You know, that means a lot because a lot of us haven't built a database and we don't know what it could be. And the reality to it is the beauty that you have right now is that your database can be anything that you need it to be. It can grow, you know, and you know, in the slide, it's whatever garden you want to have, but you can grow and bloom whatever business you want out of your database. You get to create what it looks like, how it speaks to people, how it communicates to them, but you got to feed it. If you feed that database, your business will transcend. Thank you for sharing, Terry. I appreciate that. And I love the honesty in it. And thank you all for being honest and open. It makes a difference. So let's talk about what you mentioned. I'm going to share our screens again. Give me 1 second. All right. So Gary's wrote a few books. And in one of the books he wrote that I like to have, uh-oh, messed something up here. Hold on 1 second. Technology is wonderful till it's not. My TV disconnected. Give me 1 second. Let me get it back going. If I shut down and I get kicked out, I'll log you guys back in. I think our internet server might be going out. And then again, we might be back up and running. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. We should be back in business now. All right, so Gary wrote a few books. One of the books that has been very popular today has been his Shift book. And one of the things that he says inside that book is once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, put them in your database, stay in touch with them forever. The second C of that WI4C2TES is commitment, commitment in all things. And we're committed to staying in emotional proximity with our contacts. If you have somebody that you had a conversation with and you're building that relationship out with them, one thing that you must do, use that database, use that as your way to stay connected with your people, right? As we go through and we're building out a database for us to use, right? That database should be something that can nurture that relationship. And to nurture a relationship effectively, we have to understand and identify the goals that a person has. You know, this is a graph that we use that, or a wave graph, if we want to be 100% correct, that shows how every person in your database transpires, right? They're on that wave of being ready to buy. And you're going to have that lead generation phase where we just have their contact information and moving it forward. Then you're going to be gathering information about them. And you're going to be storing leads relatively quickly. But then during that middle process, that lead follow-up, that lead conversation, that's where you're building more and more data about what is an emotional connection to that person that builds out to eventually that person moves forward to transaction. You're the person they connect with. So here's a question. And this is for if your number was, which one have we called on? 9. This is for number 9. Do you remember how long that somebody takes between purchasing homes, or what's the average time frame for somebody to move from house to house or before they get ready to buy their first home?
Isn't it 7 years?
Absolutely, 7 to 10 years. So look at this wave graph from lead generation, lead follow-up, lead conversion. How long can that middle part take? 7 to 10 years. That is where, if you have an emotional connection to somebody, you built a pipeline where these people are staying connected to you. All of your deals become easy conversions because you've been staying in contact with people for up to 7 to 10 years to build that out. Think about the agent I talked about, an online Zillow lead. He's managing and he's going through because he knows on average, even that cold lead that comes in, I can convert that person if I'm in contact with them for 210 days. You know, that lead follow-up implies lead conversion, right? And lead conversion is really just inquiring when that person is ready to go. And sometimes you're going to have that as a feeler question back and forth to know if they're ready to move forward inside of their business. But it is a great way, right, to be engaged with any of your contacts, right? Now, of course, any lead that says that they immediately want your services, you got to be ready to convert away. And there's always the ABCs of selling. And I don't like to say that we typically sell, but understand that we always have to remind people of what we do and how we do it so that they can know that we're ready to work with them immediately as well. But sometimes it takes a while. So in your last session, you guys had a goal, and that was to convert a lead to an appointment. And we learned that not every lead is able, ready, or willing to buy, to meet, or think that there's even value in meeting. And when we encounter those people who aren't ready for that meeting, we use what? Follow-ups. We try to stay in contact with them until they're ready for an appointment. So as a question, if you had to guess how many times you agreed to be in someone's database when you're not ready to make a purchase. Matter of fact, let's do this. I'm going to ask this question. I want us to raise our hands on the little Zoom thingy. There you go. Brain lapse. All right. How many times have we all agreed to be in somebody's database when we weren't ready to make a purchase? So what I'm asking is, how many times we signed up on an email list, a text message for a discount to purchase something, to be involved in something. And here's the kicker, and we never used it. Now, here's the great thing. We all are starting to raise our hand and go through. Continue to raise your hands if you've done this, let's say 5 times. I got 5 I can think of right now. Fanatics, because I was just looking at buying more Chiefs gear, right? I had to sign up for the, matter of fact, it was 70% off to buy a jersey, and I didn't get the doggone jersey because they sold out in time. my tchotchkes for going to closings. My suit jacket, I can already tell you, I got too many different clothes ones. So that's 5 immediately. We can go 10 times. Well, I wanted, embarrassing but true, I was just looking at signing up for HBO Max on this email list because if I go through and I search on something with Bing, they'll give me a free subscription to HBO Prime or HBO Max. It's like, yep, you know what? That's for free. I'll jump in and take it. Have no intention on buying either one of them later on. We do this over and over and over and over again, right? This is our lifestyle. This is what we go through and do. So when it comes to the real estate business, those clients are no different. Your contacts are no different. They're willing to go into your database. They're willing to be there. And then it's for you to go through and find out what's of relevance. What do I need to market to them? How do you do that? That's where you're making your contacts. They go to your database. You should have something of note to be able to have a genuine conversation. And sometimes that genuine conversation is literally, and I've done this and I've been burned from it as I've gotten older, but I also had to clean out my database. Hey, I have you saved in my phone and I have you saved as one was Sean's girlfriend. I have no idea who you are. Just quickly, just trying to figure out, you know, how we're related, how we're connected, because it's been a minute since we talked. And walking through, and you know what's happened? There's been good and bad. There's been some that, yeah, I have no idea who you are. You might as well just go ahead and delete this contact. And there's been some like, yeah, I've been waiting for you to reach out to me. I've been curious to see, and it just randomly a great conversation sparks up. Honestly, when I had the opportunity to buy into the Market Center and take this role, I reached out to a guy who I hadn't talked to in, I think it was 5, it might not be 7 years. And I remember our last conversation when I reached out and talked to him. I said, man, last time we talked, we were in Las Vegas together. And you mentioned you had this role. I'm just curious what you would think. He and I had the greatest conversation for 30 minutes. And then he just stopped and said, what in the hell made you think to call me? And I said, honestly, was going through my phone. I saw your name, remembered our last conversation, and I wanted to reach out. I couldn't think of a better time to reach out than have a conversation with you about something I knew you had. And it made all the difference and sparked a great conversation and built up that relationship where now it's a great contact in that database. So from this exercise we went through and kind of walking through how many times did we sign up to throw our own information inside of somebody's database, what did you realize? What did you get out of that?
I do it all the time.
Yeah. And when you do it, do you even think about it?
No.
And would you consider yourself to be a unique consumer?
Yes.
Okay. What makes you so unique?
I do it all the time, but it's with certain things and regarding to like my lifestyle or like my family's lifestyle. So it's not just everything, but it's specific to the things that I like and specific to the things that I think my family would like or that we want to be involved in.
Ooh, so you just spoke about something that really hits home. You want to know a secret to getting somebody to do real estate with you, to do business with you? They know you.
Yeah.
They know what you do. Some will say that they like you. And that's really the 3 biggest things. They know you, they like you, they know what you do, and somebody will do business with you from that. And they honestly don't even have to like you, but if they know you and they know what you do and know that you do a good job at it, people will use you over and over and over again. What you just said about being a great consumer, it is unique to things that you like or your family likes. Those are things that are enticing to you. So if you're reaching out to your database and you're going out and they know you, they like you, they know what you do, all you got to do is ask for the business at the right time. And sometimes it's asking over and over for it. Now, here's a question for us all. What entices you to sign up for those programs?
Usually free stuff.
Give me an example, like what they tell you to make you sign up when you say free stuff.
Like, I don't know, like some websites or something you sign up for, you get, like, I just signed up for nursing products, but I signed up for it because it was free, but all I had to do was pay for shipping.
Okay.
Chances are I won't buy the product again, like myself, like, but stuff like that.
You know what that is you just signed up for?
What?
That magic word, MOFR. The offer they gave you to get an immediate response was you get X, Y, and Z free. Get 70% off of any gear if you sign up today. Make an offer for immediate response. That immediate response is you giving up your contact information, right? And whatever offer they gave you, that's what the trigger was. So we talked about it earlier about learning how to use MOFR and what it is, but we've all been enticed by MOFR at some point in time to go through. Now it's just understanding how we can incorporate that inside of our business model, because we can throw out those MOFRs on a regular basis to anybody who's not inside of our contacts in our database. But Levi's jeans, for instance, that's, for whatever reason, I'm on their database and I look down, I have Levi jeans on, so it actually makes sense. But because I'm already in their database, you know what they go through and do? They email when they have sales, 70% off. And now what am I enticed to do? Ooh, 70%, let me go and buy it, right? Well, that's an offer for immediate response, but guess what? They're not sending it out to the rest of the world. They're sending it to me, who's already in their database. And I am more eager to respond because I obviously wear your product, so I like it. And now that you're giving it to me at a discount, or you're responding and engaging with me in a certain way, I'm more apt to respond. Also, I don't understand why they just don't put zippers on some of their jeans. It's a random conversation, but it irks me a little bit sometimes.
You don't like the button up?
I do, except for when I can't get it buttoned and then you stand in the bathroom looking like an idiot because you can't button your pants. But, you know, that's just me. And then if you get fed up and you don't feel like buttoning your pants, now you walk around with your pants undone, and that's just a whole look. So sometimes I just need a zipper, just easier. All right, so we talked about mindshare, how important it is to converting leads to contacts. Go through a stat, and it's on the page here, but do you know how many buyers spoke to just one agent before choosing someone to represent them?
It says 75.
75%. Yep. You know what's crazy about that stat? I've seen it over and over again. And the only thing that I can think about is how many times I feel like I was shopped, or people just weren't committed to using me and I had to fight left and right to get their business. But what's interesting about this is, you know, when I was fighting with them the most, I was fighting when they weren't serious about making the transaction and they were just inquiring about a few things. So I'll go back and I look at two things. If I can provide, and I'm being a person of service and I can provide value to them, people will come and ask you questions when they are curious. The agent who was here, people ask me all these questions about real estate, but they're buying from other people. Well, she never put it out there and never asked them for business. But once she did, guess what? She's grabbing all of that business. Business starts to come now because I tell people what I do and what I go through. And this is the beauty of that. If you do it well and you're maintaining contact with people, 74% of the people are always going to come back to you and use you and only you. They won't even think about anybody else. So what does that say to you? Easy answer. I got to be top of mind. I have to be there. If I can gain their mind share, it makes life easy for me. And then I don't have to work as hard to get and capture their business. So we talked about the number of contacts we have to have in the database. And we also talked about how many of us sign up for different things and we're in those different databases, right? So I talked about Levi's, for instance, and I have them on and I get their emails, but you know what jeans I also like? I like polo jeans. Do I have a brand loyalty to either? Not necessarily. Whichever one gives me the best deal at the time is what I'm going to go to. But think about our real estate business. We have 28 agents on this call tonight. You guys probably may end up having some same context somewhere along the line. If you aren't continuing to send things out, reaching out to your database, touching base with those contacts, how are you top of mind to them? And here's the thing, if you are top of mind and they reach out to you when they're ready, 3/4 of them aren't going to look anywhere else. But if you're not, and you call that person at the right time, and it's your first time reaching out to them, well, they probably will end up in that 15% who's searching and shopping around. So your target, your goal, what you're working on really insulating your database, insulating every contact that's inside of there so they won't think about anybody else. How are you going to insulate them? And I talked about the story earlier, so I'll give you one of my clients who I worked with. And this shows you how top of mind makes a difference. So 2 of my largest deals, my largest, and I wish it was larger, but it was 2 million, right? I worked with this client for, it was close to 2 years. And it was worth it to get that large of a deal. In that time frame, I built relationships, and we actually had a accountability group, for lack of a better phrase, that we would talk every single morning. And one of the guys was waiting. They lived in the same neighborhood. They knew that a house in that neighborhood would come for sale. It was going to be a short sale. So once a week, we'd have a conversation about the house to see if the guy who was next door neighbors with him knew anything different. The guy who wanted to buy it, make sure he was in line, and then we talk about our normal stuff. So we were talking for, it was literally 18 months, back to back, daily. And it was no more than 5 to 10 minutes. It got to the point where we were driving into each other's offices. We would talk about what we were doing for work that day, how we were managing people, but we were top of mind nonstop. The guy in the neighborhood, I had never did a deal with him before. And just because somehow, some way he got engaged in that conversation, when it came time for him to buy his vacation home for $2 million, he's like, there's only one person in the world that I will call because I know your commitment to your business. So we talk about staying top of mind. That is probably the most engaged relationship that I've had with anybody. There wasn't follow-up, there wasn't drip campaigns. It was so crazy because when those deals closed, I remember driving to work and my phone didn't ring. And I called them both when I got to the office and I said, so y'all literally just, and they both end up buying new houses. So like, so y'all just buy houses and forget about me. So now what am I supposed to do with my time? And they're like, well, you got to find somebody else to talk to every single day. But it builds good relationships that you can build long standing. Sean Wilson, who was here in our office, he lived through his real estate clients and he found a way to be not only the person of service and provide value, he wanted to make sure that he was top of mind with his clients, because anything he did that he was having fun, he wanted an agent to be connected. He wanted one of his clients to be connected with. If I'm going bowling, one of my clients is going bowling. If we're going to go watch a movie, then I'm bringing a client to go watch a movie. You know, if we're going to the game, who do I know who wants to go to the game? And matter of fact, if they're tailgating, who can I just go tailgating with? Sometimes it's not even about spending money. Sometimes it's just about, hey, you know what? I'm going for a walk around the lake. Who do I know who lives in this neighborhood? You mind going on a walk with me? I just want to explore the neighborhood a little bit. Little things like that can change the course of your relationship with somebody and build it out and make it much better and deeper in the entire way. All right, so our clients, even when they close, they never stop being contacts. We saw it earlier, 7 to 10 years before each person buys and sells, but in 7 to 10 years, a lot of things happen. 13-year-old becomes a 20-year-old. Their 20-year-old child who was in college is now 30 and building their family out. Things happen where there's a lot of things, if you're nurturing that relationship with them, remaining in emotional proximity creates a new value proposition. You know, if you maintain all those contacts, people who've been inside of real estate for 15, 20 years, good Lord, I've almost been in this thing for 20 years. I can't even believe I can say that. But if we maintain our relationships, that's where some of these deals come in, where now we're dealing with people's children, which is very strange to me, by the way, because I literally think I'm 21 still. But we start dealing with different family members, brothers and sisters. I've had mother and father, they bought homes for both children, and now the children are selling their houses and going on to either buying investment property or their next home because they're getting married and that house no longer suits their needs. But you start going through that track record. You don't get all those deals because you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. You build an ongoing relationship. You put value propositions that are there. We'll do another question where we get to raise our hands. So if you were looking at using somebody for hairstylist, beautician, physician, tailor, or restaurant, how many of us ask other people before we make that selection? You know what's great about that? Everybody's raising their hands. Real estate is the exact same way. You want to know what your database can do for you? Some of the best referrals that I've ever received have been from people who have never bought a house with me. They are the ones who refer me more than anybody else because, hey, I may not be in the position to buy, I may not be thinking about doing it, but I want to give somebody to you because I want to be a support of your business. That aspect and getting those people to refer you is great. So your database that you build out doesn't always have to be about people who are ready to close and ready to move forward right now. Your database is about building a network that you have emotional connections with people so you can somehow, some way either yield them to do work for you or they can find opportunities for you to jump into. Remember, 75% of the people go to the first people they call. If it came from a strong emotional referral, they are going to use that person to run and jump to it. All right, I'm going to skip forward to a couple of things just to make sure that we can get through some important stuff today. I talked about it earlier, and I said that we were going to devise a plan and help build out a 36 touch. So does everybody have Command, and are they using Command? All right, inside of Command, they have this thing called Smart Plans. You can build out a communication strategy by going through Command and using somebody else's smart plan and tweaking it to ourselves. So what I want us to go through and do, we are going to jump into Command for a little bit, and we are going to find and craft and cultivate a Smart Touch program. So since we are all on our computers, let's take a few moments, and I'm going to stop our share. Did I stop it? All right, perfect. I want you guys to open up your Command. And I want you to start to search. I'm going to open up mine as well. All right, and give me a thumbs up once you're inside of your Command. All right, we're all getting in. All right, so on the left-hand column, I want us to go, on mine it's the 1, 2, 3, the fourth one down that says Smart Plans. All right, and now we're going to go into, at the top where it says library. So it says My Smart Plans, and then to the right, library. Give me a thumbs up once you've clicked on library. All right, so this is what we're going to go through and do. I want us to search inside of this and use something that speaks to you. Just type in 36 if you want, because again, we can follow models. People have already built this out for us. But when you type in 36, you're going to find out that there are a lot of people who have built out 36 touch programs for us. And now what we want to go through and do, I want you to review through, and I'm going to give us 10 minutes. I want you guys to explore. I'm going to give us up to 10 minutes. I'm going to say that. I want you to go through and explore the different 36 touch programs and find one that speaks to you We can go through, we can tweak it, but find one that speaks to you. To view it, what you want to do, and let's just use the first one that pulls up. Actually, let's do the second one, 36 touch for referral agent partners. Oh, no, let's not do that.
What's that? 36 touch for referral agent partner.
So you should be inside of your command and go into smart plans.
I'm in. I just want to know
Yeah, so that's somebody who built a smart plan. Great question, by the way. So what this is just showing you all the smart plans that agents across the country have built out.
Okay.
And you can kind of see through them where they have 5 stars, 2 stars, whatever the case. If somebody's used it, they rated it, and it's been a great way for them to build a business out. Right?
Yes.
So let's use the 36 touch campaign for sellers. So you can
Okay.
go to view steps, and then when you go to view steps, then you can see, all right, what each stage is, whether it's a phone call, the simple email that gets sent out, you get to see that information. If we want a detailed view of it,
Simple email delay. Okay. Delay. When there's delay, they say delay 4 days. What does it mean? That it will send a simple email and wait for 4 days and
Got
do
it.
it again.
you got it.
Just to
It's a
make
great
sure that
question.
I got
So as you build it out, you get to see that it builds in delays for you because if you send 36 emails 36 days in a row, you're probably not going to get the response you want. And let's just be honest, a 36 touch campaign isn't to harass somebody. It is to gently stay in contact with them, so you are top of mind when they're ready to go forward. If you want to see more of the smart plan, you can add that smart plan to your database. I like to throw in something, just say, in parentheses, test behind it, so I can see what it is. Then when I download the smart plan, I can go into my smart plans, and then I can open it up and read it. So I'm going to share my screen so I can show you guys how I walk through it. Hold on, let me share it. So here's an example. Oops. Well, now I got you guys' picture in the way. Hold on. There we go. All right, so go to library. I just typed in 36. I'm going to use the 36 touch campaign for seller. So I looked at the steps. It seems interesting enough based on the context they have. I can see that it's been downloaded a good amount of times. People have had success with it. So now I'm going to add this smart plan. And then I'm just going to put in test 1, download the smart plan.
Why you putting text 1?
Yeah, I just, so I can go through and know if I don't like it, then I can go through and edit it later on.
Okay. I see.
And so then I go back to my smart plans, and then this smart plan will be here. And now I can go through and review it in more detail. Uh-oh, it's not pulling up. When you click the edit tab, it takes a second, but once you click that edit, it'll actually let you open it up. You can read through each email, each text message chain to see if it's something that you like. Random question to everyone: have you connected Twilio? Do you know what Twilio is?
I have not connected it, but I do know what it is.
All right,
It's
you
the
will want to go
texting
through.
thing, right?
Yep, you'll want to go through and connect it just so you could have a text message service that'll go through, and it will help out. But as you go through and you read this, right, you can see that on some of these, it's really simple, right? This guy, the emails that he has calls that are here, create a task, why you should work with a realtor, phone calls that go through, test messages that are there. I want us to take a few moments, go through and research different 36 touch campaigns. And even if it's not a 36 touch campaign, research a contact campaign. And by doing that, we will find something that we can go through and use, because you know what your next homework is tonight? After you clean it up, I want you to connect somebody in your database to this campaign and start dripping out contacts to them. That, and one of the great ones, that 8x8 is actually a really good one that I've used. The 8x8 contact engagement, build a new relationship and one in any real estate market. This is a great one to go through as well. It sends
8x8.
text that goes out, 8x8, 8x8 new contact engagement.
How did you see what emails he was using?
So when you get when you click on view steps, you're
Uh-huh.
only going to get a quick preview, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
For you to see it, you're going to have to add that smart plan.
Uh-huh.
And then when you add the smart plan, you need to click on the edit tab.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you can go through and read them.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep. All right. So like I said, I'll give everybody 10 minutes or so, kind of go through, find different ones that you think are interesting, read, review through, and then we'll come back and we'll just talk about the ones that we picked up. All right, I'm gonna grab some more water and I will be right back.
Okay, can we change this, the information that, that is in, like the email that they send, the heading, the subject, can we change it or we send it just like that?
No, you can change it. You go through and when you're inside the smart plane, you're editing, you can edit because you need to edit all of these, right? Because you need to make sure you have your signature inside of it. You can change the name of the email that goes out. You can change the name of the text message. You might have verbiage in there that you're going to change. Remember, these are created from agents across the country. So I think one of my smart plans that I used to send out to agents was created by a brokerage in Arizona. And I had to tweak that one to make sure that it only said, you know, Towson, Maryland to it. So you want to look through, you can change the name of the email. Make sure you read through each one and make sure you have your contact information at the bottom, because some of these, like the one that I went through, you will have Spencer Ward's name through everything. And we don't want to market their business. We want to market yours. So we got to make sure we find that one, we are tweaking it to what we like, to our information as well.
Okay, so, and once you have done the changes and you like your, what do? You save it?
Yep, you want to save that one. And even in the few minutes that we went through today, it's not enough time for you to go through and fully make sure that everything inside of that smart plan is the one that you want to use. But if you do it correctly, we should be able to go through that one and research and make sure everything is in line to make it work. One moment. Hey, Tim. You go. All right, one moment. I'll let you guys keep updating. So as we're going through, I have a question. What have you noticed about going through and playing around with the smart plans?
They have a lot to offer. It's like a smart plan basically for everything. And if you can't find it, you can create it. So it's like the sky's the limit. To be honest, you can automate like everything.
That is true with your picture looking up at the sky, looking at all these smart plans that you have up there.
Yep.
But really, that is it, right? So we talk about staying top of mind. You know, I use the over-exaggerated example. Well, not honestly, it really wasn't over-exaggerated. There's a lot that happened in those conversations, and we built a great friendship and relationship. But you know, it's a lot of work to sit there and call somebody and talk every single day, right? It's a lot easier when you have an automated system to go through and do it for you. You know, the whole class, we've kind of seen why it's important and why it matters to make sure we're staying top of mind. Staying top of mind, it's not going to look like an email every single day. You know, mix it up. There's going to be text messages that are there. There are going to be phone calls that are there. But you're going to start realizing that a lot of people go through different stages at the same time. You're going to get to the point where you start building out a smart plan that matters for you. And let's say you have an event. If you have an event and it's going to be, well, a great way to look at it is, so I have multiple commands that I go through. I have one as the team leader of the Market Center. I have one that's my own. As the team leader of the Market Center, my command is more of a command MC that I get to go through and do some examples with. Why is it not going into it? I've built some smart plans out. The smart plans that I've built talk about different trainings that we go through. It talks about different events that we have. If there is something that's of relevance, if it's a training for, you know, and let's do it relevant to our business. If you're doing a home buying seminar for people who are always curious about home buying, then you should have a smart plan for that. You can have your contacts connected to more than one smart plan, and you should, right? 36 touches that you have, that's just one smart plan, but you can have somebody on, you know, home buying. If you want to work with investors, you can start to create a smart plan that talks to investors. You can put them on multiple ones. So when you have a conversation and something they say triggers that thought process of, hey, you know, parents downsizing, you want to move them in. What does that look like? You can create a smart plan that goes along with that. You really want to get carried away with it, which you should. Little things like this, you see a blog post, you see a CNN article, you see a video that makes sense. If you start tagging that information and storing it, you can build a smart plan around it. You know, what's the conversation that's going right now? Will the government ban gas stoves? All right, well, if you got a great connection, somebody who works at, I don't even know if Renter Center is still a place. I can't believe that's the first thing that went through my head. Montgomery Ward's even worse. I keep thinking of all the ones. See, I guess I have been in this business for 18 years, so I can think of all the closed down businesses. But if somebody who works at Best Buy appliances, if that's still a thing, don't tell me that one closed too. Then I'm really just have to go back to the drawing board. You know, and they have it sell or discount. You create a smart plan around that. There you go. Little things that you can do. You get to build this out where you get to stay top of mind. Anything you can automate will make your life easier. You know, it's a conversation that Doug and I, our broker, we've been having, and we've been going around through the chat GPT. If that's writing articles for you, or you see something that's great, if it's about winterizing your home, it's a great smart plan. And think about if you went to a winterizing your home and you did it month by month. So that gave you, depending on what part of the country you're in, November, December, January, February, March. It'd be really embarrassing if I skipped a month, but I won't. But you could have 5 months worth of emails that go out talking about winterizing your home. And then de-winterizing your home be the last one that goes out to them. If they're already on another smart plan, that's just the email one that could go out. That's just something that's relevant of use. If that person is an avid sports fan and they're not rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs, boo, 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 first of all, go Chiefs. But what would it look like if you sent them an email just reminding them of every Chiefs home game? Of, hey, I know you're a big Chiefs fan, just remind you that the Chiefs play on Thursday this week. It's a great smart plan that is unique to you because I took them all down, but how often do people send out the magnets and flyers? You can send an email each week that goes through it. You can create that smart plan, right? You get to create it for whatever you want, whatever's relevant to you, but it helps you stay top of mind to the people. And if you can build smart plans around conversations that you have, and what you will find is some of these forward conversations, as much as I talk to other people and like to listen to them, and I'm sorry you guys just had to listen to me all night, you actually can start to hear things that make sense and that are relevant. You know what I love? I love connecting people together. So having a smart plan around connecting somebody to my HVAC guy, it makes sense. Hey, remember in our last conversation, you need to talk to somebody who can do HVAC. Well, here's 3 names of people that I went through or that I've used. And honestly, I don't even care if you use 3. I know all the stuff we're supposed to do, but here's my guy. Hopefully you get a chance to reach out to him. Got a text message that goes afterwards. Just wanted to make sure that you and John got together. And then the email, if you and John connected, give me a ring. Let me know how everything turned out. It's a simple, smart plan that, guess what? Your other person, and then I got a task in there for me to call John to let him know I sent somebody to him. Did they connect? That's something that's simple, that is relevant. It touches base with the person. What do we say? Be a person of service. Provide value that you're getting to use and do over and over again. See, these smart plans that are there that people have built, you get to build different things. Make it useful, make it beneficial to you. You do that, you will never not be top of mind. You will have a business that will be long-standing and that will continue. All right, so the next part of what we're supposed to go through is I want us to lead gen and do that part. But there was something that you guys said earlier that hit home to me, and I can't let a class go without having that. And that is accountability groups and partners. You guys are going to be the keys to get each other together to move your businesses forward. And even hearing 3 people say that they don't have accountability partners is too many people when you have a group of this size. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually split us up into a breakout room. We have, I am going to do 5 breakout rooms. When you guys get into each of these breakout rooms, I want you to share your contact information and find a time that works for you guys to spend at least 15 minutes a week, just talking to each other, finding out what you did that was successful, what challenge you went through, and a strategy that can either continue the success or a strategy to overcome the obstacle that you went through. Sound like a deal? All right, you guys will be in your breakout rooms, and Team Honest 5.
Well, I have something to say.
Yes, go ahead.
Shishak is online, and he's my script practice partner.
There you go.
I see him online, but I don't have an accountability partner, so I don't know what to
Well,
do.
you and Shaq have a conversation about that and create that as well.
Yeah,
And-
we've been practicing the scripts, but like we couldn't do since last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fully.
If you guys aren't in the same breakout group, because I'm assigning it randomly, you already have your script practice time. Set time to have accountability groups and that you can just share and go through it. All right. It makes a difference.
The only thing I can say is that I have a good group. That's all I can say.
I agree.
Me too. I'm in the best group.
All right, so I got to pop in and out and couldn't figure out how to log out to do something else. But I got a question. Was that impactful? Was that good to share contact information? Know that you got some people that you can connect with?
That
Oh my
was
God,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
very good.
It was really good.
Yes.
Perfect. In hearing a few conversations, honest question here. How many people feel lost?
I do.
I feel
Yeah.
overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed because I'm a dual career person and I'm just trying to get this real estate underway, but I feel overwhelmed with all this stuff.
I feel lost and excited at the same time. I feel lost because there are so many things to learn, but excited because again, there are so many things that I can try and learn. So it's kind of both.
I think for me, I feel overwhelmed too, but and I'm overwhelmed and excited. It's more of excitement, but overwhelmed because I feel like I have no clear, there's lack of direction in the sense for me.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is for me.
Amen. And I want to share something with you that we discussed in our group, that we learned more about smart plans tonight than
Me
we
too.
have taken classes on command and smart plans. Okay. You break things down into
Agree.
like real life situations, and
Yeah.
then to do hands-on actionable right away was invaluable.
I agree.
I
This has
agree.
been
I
the
also
best-
agree.
This has been the best training program that we've had through this Ignite, out of all of them. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You guys flatter so well.
No,
It's the
no.
truth. Yeah, I love that hands-on with that command, going in that and how you did that. And then with the breakout rooms, and just introducing to new people, and I'm not much of a person to engage and stuff like that, but this I really have enjoyed.
Hey, Brandon, you can send us some of your leads. You can divide amongst us.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take those.
Of course, of course. So there's a couple things, and I hope you all got it together. I love the excitement and the uncertainty to that excitement, because there are so many different things, so many different strategies, so many different businesses, so many different techniques that people use. Whichever one you adopt will work for you, as long as you commit to it. I overheard somebody, and sorry I didn't grab the name and write that down, but they were talking about their social media and their tech presence. I have the worst social media game known to man. My Facebook account, he's graduated college by now, I assume. I did not create my Facebook account. A college kid created it. So he has my password because I don't remember how to change it if I wanted to. I was making fun of myself earlier and was trying to figure out the last time I posted. On Facebook, I posted on November 2nd. I remember that because that's a date that resonates, or not February 2nd. But that was only into our internal group. I had a video that was posted today, but I didn't post it. But then on my own Instagram, the last time I posted on that one, I actually thought it was March, but it turns out I posted in November, right? As long as you are operating in a space that you are comfortable. Now you have to be uncomfortable in your comfort zone. So you got to push yourself. But if you are not the most flamboyant of personalities, if you only operate on social media and you don't want to connect with people in any other fashion, you can do that. You can make the most out of whatever you do as long as you commit to it. Like my shirt, real estate is a contact sport, right? Here's what's interesting about this shirt. It's not about picking up the phone and using it. It has every medium, every way you could possibly imagine to contact somebody. Think about the mentality we talked about earlier. What's a lead? What's a contact? The lead is the one-way conversation. A contact, they are engaging in a conversation with you. If you are online, you're having a back and forth dialogue, whether you're DMing or, and this is when I stopped on Facebook, because I have the professional side and then I have the family members who grew up with me and we used to make fun of each other and still do every time we see each other's side. And I was on it one night. I was on Facebook and I was going back and forth, me and my cousin. I'm hitting with you big head, so-and-so, like just we're going back and forth. And then all of a sudden I hear, my wife comes running downstairs. You do know the whole world can see that conversation, don't you? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm just talking to my cousin. This is just between he and I. It's a private conversation. He said, no, you idiot. The whole world can see what you're saying. Before, and I had this business deal that was going through. She said, you might want to just stop, just altogether. Stop right now. And I was killing my cousin. I was roasting him like no before. And we were having a great time. We were laughing and joking the whole way through. And that's when I realized I probably shouldn't be on social media all the time, right? And so I have to commit extra hard at conversating with people, finding ways to stay top of mind, because I don't have the funny video. I don't have, the inspirational quote of the day. I don't have those things. But what I do have is a way to send out a message that, hey, in Baton Rouge, Coach Kadar just got his first day. What do you know about that? This one, did y'all know Southern's performing at the NBA All-Star game? Great video. Why don't we have more conversations about what you're doing with solar? Like, these are messages that I send on a regular day-to-day basis. As I'm going through it, it's literally the most random. Oh, I got to jump back on this lead. I forgot. Office design ideas. And so I send out different things, but this is how I stay in contact, right? This is what I do because that's relevant and that works for me. And I understand that this is a little bit more involved, and, to Shank, and I've seen your videos, man, keep it up in the gym because you're inspiring me.
Thank
But
you.
with
Thank
that, you can touch a wider audience and you can go through, make sure that you're engaged when somebody responds and they post, find a way to take that from being a lead to how do I make a contact out of it? I don't know if he's still on. So Wilbert, you had one of the greatest mentors in regards to building this out, and Corey and I would debate through this over and over. And he would go through getting that online contact or getting that online lead and convert it to a contact. What was Corey's methodology of getting that person to respond to him and now engaging and taking a step further? What was his path? Do you know?
I don't recall exactly, but I know for him, he gave me like a script for social media. And so the first thing I want to do, of course, you want to type in that whatever that message is, like, hey, such whoever that person is, I have a quick business question for you. Whenever you get a chance, give me a call. Leave your contact information. Or the one I've been using lately is, hey, such and such, hope all is well. It's been a while since we talked. I'm helping people, with their real estate goals this year. Do you know anybody, or do you yourself have any real estate needs? And I've got a lot of responses. And based off of that, I got a lead. What's this? Last Wednesday or Thursday, I got a lead. So it's that first one. It's kind of like you want to get like it's really it's about consistency. Like, one of the things he preached to me is about just being consistent with it, like maybe 20 a day. Reach out to them and have a certain amount that you do every week. So I got my board behind me says 20 a day, at least 3 times a week. So, for him, it's about consistency.
And think of this, the people that are responding to you in nature of the class we had tonight, if you're taking them and you're putting them into command, you're getting their contact information. That's what Corey would go through. He would start engaging that conversation and let me get a phone number, let me get an email address, let me find out a way that I can send some information to you. And then you can start building campaigns around whatever that conversation is that you had with them. Shank mentioned that he videotaped, and I heard this one, the accident coming in. And if you got traction from that, you could have a smart plan around ridiculous accidents that you've seen that just trigger something in people's brains. Build out what you want. You guys are creating this business for something for you to enjoy. Make it enjoyable, because your clients, they'll enjoy it too. If they enjoy seeing you, they enjoy your world.
And I posted another video of we went to Fogo de Chão, so I posted a video of Fogo de Chão, the restaurant, and that was also most viewed video, almost 2,000 views on that video.
I was in your corner until you just told me you went to a fancy restaurant and didn't even invite me.
It was a date with me and my wife. We went on we were celebrating something, I don't remember now, but we went on a date.
Well, me and my wife go on dates and we like to celebrate.
Okay, we have to do a couple date or something like that.
All right. Look, I will hold you up on that. You and my wife have a lot of things in common from the physical therapy side, so we need to get
Oh,
that
yeah,
set
yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah, we need to set that up. I want to show you my t-shirt. I have this t-shirt too. Real estate is my hustle.
There you go. There you go.
I got it custom made.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, thank you.
It will make a difference. Just wearing something like that when you're out in public, you will get conversations around it. Always remember we should be gathering information from people so we can run forward with it. I got to jump onto my Little League coaching call, but I want to say to you guys, first and foremost, I understand that doing things in the virtual world, sometimes it makes it difficult to engage and have conversations. I know that I'm a person who just likes to call out on people and put you in different spots. As we are at home doing different things, I truly appreciate each of you engaging, having conversations. I hope the contacts that you share with each other, you guys are utilizing. Use it. The people who are here in this classroom will make your real estate life so much better. And more than just your real estate life, you will find that you have different things in common that will make things just easier and a better experience for you. We all have times that we feel lost, that we don't know which direction to go in. And what I can tell you is the easiest thing to do is grab a plan, run forward with it, stick to it, and it'll work. The more you commit to yourself and the business that you want to go through, the easier it'll work. If any of you have the red book, I will say this. Page 37 is my favorite page. And if I have one that I didn't give away, I will pull it out. Hold on, I got to show it to you. All right, so to that question of feeling lost, it is very easy to do one thing. So does the camera zone in? Picture, boom, there we go, page 37. This is what it talks about. Those two triangles. This triangle is the one that a lot of us will go through and do when we're lost. And what that is we put creativity first into our business and use that creativity thinking that it's going to get us to our end goal. The one thing that you can do inside of this world, this book, this real estate brokerage, the success that most of us have came from doing the exact opposite. We followed the model first, and then we put our creativity on top. Give you an example of this, even in conversations that we've had today. The model is lead generation. You take the lead, you build it into a contact, you take that contact, you nurture it until that deal closes. The creativity is how you get that lead and how you convert that lead into a contact. So we can be creative and we can use social media. We can be creative. We can make random phone calls to people, right? We can go out to games and we can do different things to find a way to get leads to have contacts with. But the thing that you have to do is you're going to have to put contacts in a database and you're going to have to nurture it. That model has never failed. If you go against that model, it will be a very difficult time. So I say to those of us who feel lost and wondering which direction to go, if you broke this down very simply, how am I taking my leads, having two-way conversations with them? Now that I'm having two-way conversations with people, be it online, be it via phone, be it email, be it text, however I'm having two-way conversations, how am I continuing to stay top of mind of that person? What in that conversation, right, in communication, we are seeking to understand, what am I understanding about that person that I can continuously follow up with them on? If I can find a way to touch base with them 36 times every year, email, text, phone call, random hi, drop by, whatever the case may be, that person will do business with you later on. If that's what you can work up and build out, you will have success. Have fun figuring out the way to communicate with them and seek to understand. Enjoy that process. Enjoy working with them. And it'll make a great difference. All right, with that, I bid you guys adieu. Have a great night. Yes, this session's recorded. Melissa will be sending out links to everyone. If you need anything, my contact information, I will throw it out. So my name, Brandon Martinez. My email address, brandon@kwlimpact.com, and my cell phone number, 301-323-8115. Reach out. I'm available. Text me, email me. Those are the best ways to get in contact with me. If you find me on social media and you send me a message, judge my head, not my heart. I will find it sometime, some way. Sometimes it might not be for 36 weeks, but I will get to it.
Can you repeat
we're
the
there.
phone number?
301-323-8115.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And again, if you
Thank
need
you.
anything or
Thank you
have
so
any
much.
questions.
Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
All right.
Night.
Bye.